Hey guys, it's Chris here from Chris's Creative Life, and I design workshops that help you create beautiful layouts from start to finish with easy to follow guides. Okay, so I'm just give me 1 second here. I'm just going to share this over into my classroom and then we can get started. So for whoever didn't see earlier this week, on Wednesday, it was the first installment of Shaker Week. So I did a card on Wednesday with a shaker element, and today we're gonna create a layout that has two shaker elements, and they're slightly different. Well, they're kind of the same but kind of different. So we're going to add them both onto this scrapbooking page. So I'm going to do a 2-page spread, and as I said, I thought I would go with a grad theme. Good afternoon. So I'm going to put you down on my desk so I don't forget to do that, because I almost forgot last time until somebody reminded me. And it's much easier to see me, the layout, down on my desk. So I might have to move the camera up just a little bit. Let's see if I can get both pages in here. So we're going to do, it just fits. That's awesome. Okay, so I've pulled out some fun things here. So I have some grad photos, and we're going to make a 2-page spread. I've got some paper from Stars and Sparklers. I have a little bit of, actually, this is the Bluebell glitter paper, because I'm going to use Bluebell sequins in my shakers today. And then I have a piece also from the Mix-Ins pack. And then I have some pieces, so these are from Stars and Sparklers also. And then I have one of the PML cards that I'm going to cut up for one of my little spots here too. Okay, so this one. So like I said, we're going to put down a couple of fun shaker elements. So I have printed just some 3x3 photos here, and we're going to create like a little rectangle across the page. So I cut down this PML card and to match the photos. So that's going to go there, I think. So I pulled in the toffee, the scarlet, because scarlet kind of goes with his school colors. So I thought that would work. And then we're going to have a little bit of the blues too. So I have 3 photos for this side and 3 photos for this side. And so here we go. Here's my 3 photos for this side. We're going to add like a little journaling element there. I have just pulled some stickers from the sticker sheet. And then, so I thought, because I'm working in a little, like a grid here, we're going to do a square shaker. So just because normally when you think about, I think shakers, they're like round and no different. That's what I used on my card the other day, was a round shaker element. So today I thought we would use one of the square elements. So Close to My Heart does have the shaker foam and acetate in other shapes other than just the circles. So we're going to use a square one today, but you could totally do the same concept with just foam tape and your own acetate. And then actually on the other side, we are going to do, okay, so I think we're going to put these pieces on this side here, like that. And then, so on this side, we're going to do a little bit of a different shaker, and we're going to add a rectangular shaker, because we also have rectangular foam windows and acetate. Also, if you would prefer, you could totally do this technique with your own acetate and foam tape. So I also did cut the windows though with the stitch borders, so the square and the rectangle, because they fit, everything just fits together perfectly. So it makes everything nice and easy to coordinate and work with like that. So we're going to turn this little shaker element into our title spacing here. And then, so I have this long photo of all of the grads, and so I'm going to add this on here, and then I have two, so these are actually just like candid shots that I think I'm going to add like either side like that. So here we go. So I will just move that one over just a little bit. So I thought that the scarlet went perfectly, so I've double matted this long photo. And it just, I cropped it until I got it to fit onto my page. It's not 12 inches, it's shorter than that. But I did the same matting on all of my photographs so that everything kind of goes together. So here we go. Let's get started. So it's kind of handy that this Mixins features black and white. So I did pick this dot, and on the back side it's just this like black dash line. So this is, I just believe it is 6 inches. Let me just double check here though. So I'm just lining my background up on my Versamat, and yep, it is 6 inches. So we will just put it in the middle. Okay, so I thought because it's like grad time, so this is 2 years ago when my son graduated, but I thought because it is grad season, we would use some grad photos. So here we go. I'm just lining that up totally in the middle, and then I'm going to add my pieces onto either side. And so this is a piece from the Stars and Sparklers. It's the top, it's a toffee color, kind of like a craft look, and it says like, it just says celebrate all over it. So I thought that was perfect for a grad. So this is like 3/4 of an inch. So I have one for the top and one for the bottom. And then I'm going to add that little, so I've just cut 2 for this side, 2 thin pieces of Bluebell glitter paper. So these are just like 1/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to tie it over on this side with the same kind of combination. So on this side, I'm going to just add my shimmer trim, my tape runner, and it's going to be wider than my piece of paper, but that's fine because I have another piece of paper that's going to just go underneath it. But then at least I know that it's going to be stuck down well. So I don't have to worry about trying to get like going on the thin 1/4 inch and making sure that I have tape all the way along. If I just run it along portions of my background, then I know it's going to stick. So that's just a little, one of those handy dandy tips. So I'm using a combination of papers. So I have, well, obviously just black cardstock, and then I've got some mix-ins, and then I've pulled some elements from Stars and Sparklers. So this is from the mix-ins, and then these 2 pieces are Stars and Sparklers. And then I've grabbed some stickers off that same sheet, and I used one PML card, but you could totally use, I was actually going to just use other stickers, and then I saw the card that said time to sparkle, and I thought, oh, I'll use that. So I just cut that one down to the same size as the photographs. So it's going to be like a little, on this side, I'm going to do like a block pattern. So this was like 6 inches, and then these two are like 3/4 of an inch, and then I have 1/4 of an inch, and then 1/2 an inch. So that was kind of what I was thinking. And then, so I have this fun long photo, and then I have these two photos that I'm thinking are going to go like this on either end. Okay, and so then I have this rectangular shaker, and we're going to construct it right here in the middle, and then I'm going to lay my sticker over top. So that's kind of how this is going to come together. So we'll just add our long photo so that I know how to add my elements underneath. Okay, and then so I'm going to line this up, this one up on this side and this one up on this side, and then I'll add my shaker element in the middle there. So because I actually have no idea exactly how wide I ended up cutting this photo, I just added it to an 8.5 by 11, and I cropped it to a width or height that I liked. It's about 3 inches. I knew it would be about 3 inches. So I can actually tell you exactly what I ended up with. Yeah, so it's about 3.5 inches high. I seem to have sticky stuff all over my ruler. And then by 10.5. So I'm just lining this side up on this edge. Okay, so now we're going to create our fun little shaker element in the middle. And then, like I said, I'm going to add my title on top of my shaker element. Okay, so I just need my little anti-static here. We'll just put a bit of that down. And then, so I have the middle size rectangle, so we need to take it off the sheet here. So when you order the package, you have 3 different sizes. It's going to be super hard to see, but there's one that's right around the outside, and then there's a row of foam between them, and then there's your thin little border here. This is the one I'm going to pull out because this is the one that's going to fit here. And then I still have one more in the middle, and then I could still use all those squares to pop things up. So I'm just going to add this to my background here. So, you know, you could also do like the hearts or the stars, but I thought this rectangle is probably a little bit unexpected, and it might just be a little fun. Okay, so I'm just going to take my there is a coating on all the acetate. So if you just kind of, you can sometimes see it, which side it's on, but if not, you can just run your piercing tool just along the edge and you can find it that way. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to use Bluebell in here because I thought that it went perfectly fine with the elements from the Stars and Sparklers. And so that's why I use this little piece of Bluebell there also. Okay, I seem to have a little piece of paper in there. Must have got picked up and put in my sequins there. So I'll just add a few more. But obviously you could stuff your little rectangle with anything that would coordinate with your layout. There we go. Okay, so then I'm just going to add my acetate. Easy peasy. And then I cut a black border frame. So I'm just going to add that. So I'm going to use liquid glass. And I'm just going to set a block on top of it. And I'll work on the other side for a few minutes while it dries. And then I'll add my sticker on top. So also like the stars would be great. The star shakers would be great, obviously, for also a grad layout. So I'm just lining this up on top. And because I used the liquid glue, I do have a little bit of time if I needed to move something. Okay, and then I'm just gonna gently, so I don't knock it out of the way, just put my block. I think that's the second time I did that. I think I said the same thing when I was making the shaker card. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave that for a second and we'll work on the other side. So it's not a rectangle on this side. I'm gonna do a square over here. So I'll put that away to use for later. And so I have the square here. And so this is again the middle size. So I have the middle square that I'll need the foam for. I already pulled out my piece of acetate. So I'm just gonna break up the shaker off of here. So you can also just be gentle because you still have one around the outside there. Okay, so like I said, I'm not really sure what's going to happen over here other than I know I'm going to journal there. So I'm going to add the pieces on the bottom. So I'm bringing all of the elements that I have on this side onto this side. So I'm going to add, this is a zip strip from that Stars and Sparklers. So I'm going to add that on the bottom. Just right on the bottom edge. I'll move this one onto the Versamat when I get ready to line everything up. And then again, same thing, I'm going to run my adhesive along my background and then lay the skinny piece on top of it because I know that anything that's over will be covered up by my next piece. But then I know I have a good amount of adhesive underneath the Bluebell glitter paper. Okay. So this is a super simple layout, but it could be used for obviously so many different things. And you could switch this out for different size photos. Obviously, you could do, if you wanted, squares on the ends. So you'd have 4 square photos and then like a 3x4 in the middle there. If you don't have, obviously, a super long photo that you wanted to add, or it would be great to add like a panoramic photo too. Okay, so I'm going to adhere my photos down to my mats. So also don't forget, you can use pattern paper for your background. So this one, this shaker, we're gonna have pattern paper underneath it. So just for something just a little bit different. I thought it would be cute with then the bluebell sequins just kind of floating on top of it. Okay, so I think I'm going to quickly add some lines to my journal box because I know I have some things to say. So I will just quickly do that. I'm going to leave a little bit of a bigger space at the top so that if I want to, I can add like a stamped image there, or a little saying, or maybe one of my stickers I'll put up there. And then I find that like 1/4 of an inch is a good height for my writing, but everybody's writing is different. So if you're gonna make your own journaling boxes, if you have tiny print, move your lines closer together. If your printing is bigger, then move them apart, right? Or you could use, cut up one of the journaling cards also from the PML pack, like where I got this from. I just kind of wanted to also show you that you could use the stars and sparklers for something other than 4th of July or Canada Day or something like that. That by bringing in other things, you could adapt it. There we go. We are almost finished. Sorry, I was thinking I should do this before, but I did not. So you get to watch me. There we go. It would be cute with just like a little strip of stars across the top of that too. Okay. So I added just a little bit of adhesive so when I dropped it down onto the mat, it wouldn't shift around on me. So there is. So each of the outside pieces are 3 1/4, and the photos are all 3x3s. And then, well, they're just slightly smaller than 3x3. The white mat is 3x3, and then I trim like 1/8 of an inch off because I knew I wanted that double mat look on all of these photos. And actually, the funny thing is the layout started completely different than this morning. So, okay. So this is what I'm thinking. Okay, so let's finish up this side so I could put this one on the Versamat. So I have, this is one of the stickers from the sticker sheet. And so I'm going to use it right here. So I can tell, right, that my edges are going to be off. So I'm going to add some foam tape to the back of the two banner pieces. So I'm just flipping it over so I can see where I need to add them. Approximately. So I have the circle from Wednesday when we made the shaker card, and on the outside are all these little triangular pieces. So they just fit in nicely to my edge of the banner here. So I will just add those here like that. So that's one of the fun things about the shapes, the shaped shaker and window acetate pieces, is that you end up with fun little pieces that then you don't have to cut, right? Or if I needed something smaller, I can always cut these up too if I needed to. So there we go. One more. And this sticker is super sticky. I'm leaving this, it's sticky. I'm not taking the stick off because I'm gonna adhere it down onto that window right there. So I'm gonna, instead of having to add glue or something underneath, I'm gonna leave it sticky. So I'm gonna line it up, and then, well, first I will pull my back off. So I'm just gonna kind of slide it into where I want it. And because I decided to go up a little bit because I wanted to connect it here, I might just add a few little pieces underneath here so that once it's in the album, it doesn't get squished down. And I don't even really have to worry about pulling the backing off if I don't want to, because it's just enough really to hold it up, is what I'm looking for. I think I just have a little bit sticking out, so I'm just gonna trim that off. So there we go. That is that side, and that's really all I'm going to do to it. The shaker and the title I think is super cute. I also think you could also add your journaling under there if you wanted to, if you only wanted to do like a one-page spread, or if you wanted to journal on both pages, you could totally journal underneath here. Obviously you would do it all before you put it together. That was, but my thought was I was actually going to use this as a journal spot, but then I realized I'd have to journal before we started, and I don't know exactly what I wanted to say just yet. So then, woo, on this side now we just need to kind of put it together. So I'll just pull this on here so that it's still on screen so you can see. Okay, so we still have our shaker element I'm going to put together here. So you can see, even though they're in the opposite way right now, I'm adding my shaker onto both sides. I'm going to bring some stickers here. So I have stickers this side. I'm going to add stickers on this side. And then each of the papers that I've used on this side, other than the Mix-Ins paper, which I could add a small piece if I wanted, I've brought onto the other side of my layout. So I'm just kind of pulling one element from one side onto the other side so that you know that they go together. They could even be different events, but by bringing the elements from one side to the other, the pages look great side by side. They don't, like I said, they don't even have to be the same event, but by creating a cohesiveness between the two pages, they look great sitting beside each other. Okay, so here I'm just going to, I think I'm going to add my elements just about 3 inches from the bottom. So I'm just laying my ruler down from one side of my Versamat to the other. And I'm going to add, let me just look at this. No, I think I'm going to come up just a little bit here. So I'm going to come up to the 3.5 inch mark. Okay, and then I know these are each 3.25. So I'm going to add my 2 outside pieces, and I'm going to add them about 1 inch from each side, and then I'm going to put my middle piece in, or actually 1/2 inch, sorry, from each side. No. Let me just see what I want to do here. I just need to decide how tight I want these. I'm not sure if I want them. Yes. Okay. So we're going 1 inch from each side because I want it more squeezed together. I don't know if that's not really like a word, but tighter together. Okay, so like I said, we're going to turn this into our shaker element. So what I've done, right, they're each 1 inch from the side. Now I can add this one in the middle more easily. Right, so I'm just centering it between the two. Okay, and then I'm just leaving the same spacing that I have in the middle to the row above. So I'll add these 3, and then we'll make our shaker there, and then we'll fill in our decoration here on our little journaling box, and then we are done. So even though this will be a quick one, we've got a fun little element there on each side. And they're not the same, right? So one's a square and one's a rectangle. So, but you can see that I'm creating a rectangle with my photographs that ends up bringing it all together. Okay, so there we go. So now we've got our parts for our shaker window. We just need, I actually thought I'd already done that, but I apparently had not. So we need this middle square. So I'm just running my piercing tool around. It's not the same as the circle. They're not as attached, that they don't have as much of the little membranes holding them together. So you don't need to worry so much about breaking them apart from the background. So we're going to save that. I'm just going to anti-static my background quickly. There we go. Okay. So here we go. So now I have my square, and like I said, if you prefer, you can totally do this with your own 3D foam tape. And the handy thing is, like I said, the thin cuts match, right? So the stitched square thin cut frames and the stitch rectangle frames match the shaker elements that are square and rectangle. So first off, I'm just going to take my backing off, and I can see easily on this one which side it's on because it was started to roll up already. So there we go. And I will just add my little sequins in there. So super fun with the background, the pattern paper in the background there. So let's just, got a lot flipped on their back here. So I'll just assess whether I need to add some more. Maybe just a little, because shakers are fun. So obviously at any point you could add this to a layout, right? In exchange for a photo, or just add it into your grid. So now I just need to peel up my backing, and I'll add my acetate sheet again. So like I said, you could also easily cut your own. One of my sequins jumped. There we go. Okay, and same thing. I'm going to add my liquid glass. And then I'll just put something heavy on top of it for a few seconds while I add some stickers to the layout. And I'll show you. So the stickers, I pulled all the stickers from the Stars and Sparklers sticker sheet. So, and for this one, I kind of am going to stick with the stars. So there we go. That's lined up. So I'm just going to gently lay my block. Try not to shift it as I put it down. And I'm just going to put my lid on my sequins. So we could also add a few sequins in other spots on the layout. Okay, so these are the stickers that I have pulled. So I'm thinking I actually okay, here. So I've got the little celebrate banner. So I'm going to add that up here. And then I'm going to do, so I specifically pulled out this star because it's got the same stripes as this paper. So I'm going to add it to this side because it brings those stripes onto this paper. It's also here on the mats, but it's so small that I just wanted to reinforce it one other way. So I am going to pop this up on 3D foam tape. So I'm going to take the adhesive off the back. I don't think I'm going to use my big star that I cut. So I'm going to do this one and this one. So this one I'm just going to lay on here flat. This one I'm going to pop up on 3D foam tape. Just like that. So I hope you guys have enjoyed Shaker Week. Okay, and so I'm going to show you sometimes right? Well, I still have one corner, but I'm going to show you. These are super easy to just cut while they're still attached to the backing to fit into some of the smaller places if you needed to, right? So I'm going to just use this piece, but let's say I only wanted a small piece right there, then it's super easy to, while they're still attached to the back, to just trim these to the right size. Okay, so that's fine now. So at the end, I will grab the card from earlier this week too, to show you. Okay, so then, oh, here it is. I have this little tiny blue one, star, right here. And I'm just going to add it right there. Okay. Yes, I did think I might put something up here, but maybe we should just add some sequins. Like they kind of fell out of the shaker. Okay, obviously this is too many. So I'm just going to, though, add a few of those, and then I'll just knock the rest off. But I'm just going to put my lid here on my liquid glass while we're not using that. Okay, so for this, I'm just going to use my white glue. Yeah, they do look good with the photos too. You could also put a shaker over top of your photo if you wanted to. Like if you had more, like let's say you had 4 photos, instead of using this spot as for a shaker, you could obviously add another photo and put a shaker element on top of your photo. So I'm just dropping a little bit of glue. So you can put the sequins down in many different ways. You could put them down with glue dots, or you can just add the glue to where you think you want them and then add your sequins on top. You just have to be careful because once your hands get sticky, then the sequins want to stick to you. Okay, so I just need to see what's not stuck down here. Whoa, that one went flying. And don't do this technique if you have a hard time with too much glue coming out on you. Then just use glue dots. And one last one right there. Like I'm being super gentle with the glue. Part of my problem is now I've gotten my tweezers in the glue. So there we go. I'll just give that a second to dry. So there we go, guys. Let me just move some stuff out of the way here and we'll look at them in the right direction. So this one goes on this side and this one goes on this side. So, and you can see it shakes, and I like this because it kind of just looks like the shaker just exploded on part of your layout. I just have the anti-static powder on parts of the black that I can see. So that's what I've got. I think we're gonna leave it like that. I'm super trying to decide if I should put some sequins up over here. I think I will. So we'll do these ones on glue dots. So I'm just gonna pull off a few glue dots because they're on the back side for me because I'm so used to them being on the other side. So I'm just taking my sequin and adding it on top of the glue dot. Okay, and I'm just picking a variety of finishes, and I know that I want a bluebell one over here too. So I'm just looking for what I want. There we go. So now I'm just going to add them, just a few up here, just like they fell out of this side. And we're just going to sprinkle off the sheet. There we go. Yeah. So, like I said, this was 2 years ago, but because I thought, because it's kind of everybody's either like just had grad or having grad, depending on where in the world you are. Because our grads are like happening now. Our grads always happen in June, and I know that in different places they happen at different times of the year. So there we go. And this, I really like this. I'm happy with the way that turned out. So like I said, even though I use these as shaker elements, you could totally switch them out and add photos in the spots or switch out different spots for the shaker element. And I like that I've got a rectangle on this side, but I used a square on this side, right? And I've got a little pile of sequins up here that I keep picking up by accident. And so I've pulled elements from both sides, like I said. So I have this striped paper on this side, and I brought it over here with the star. And like I said, there are little bits behind the photographs, but it's not quite as obvious. And yeah, it kind of ties it all together, right? It connects the photograph to the bottom, and it gives you your title on your page in kind of like a fun little different unexpected element, I think. So that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the second day of our second installment of Shaker Week. I said I would show you the card that we did earlier in the week. So if you don't have the Z Fold directions template and you want it, if you just comment card, I can send you in the right direction. But so this was the card I created before, and I took it and we created these two shaker cards the same, right? So this was a fun video, and it's earlier in the week if you're interested in watching that class. So that was a fun shaker week. You guys know I love a good theme. So it was fun to play. I love shakers. So I'll put them on anything, right? So I think that sometimes you just think that they're an element to add to a card, but they're so easy to just incorporate as your embellishment on your layout. And it doesn't take a lot of space, but it's just kind of like a fun little unexpected thing, I think. So thank you everybody for watching, and we'll talk to you later. I hope you guys all have a great weekend. Bye-bye.